Good evening. This is our organizational meeting for the Board of Education, and this is for Tuesday, January 12th, 2021. First, we will do a roll call. Mr. Wilson, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Briner,
Here.
Mr. Buckley, recorded absent. Mrs. Hassan,
Here.
Ms. Jisling,
Present.
Mr. Tuttle.
Here.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic of which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First, we will have nomination of the president. Any nominations?
I nominate Mary Briner.
Thank you. And we will vote on president. Mr. Wilson, please.
I'd like
Go
to
ahead.
nominate myself to take the presidency for this year.
Okay. So, Mr. Wilson, when we have two nominations, do we vote first on one and then the other?
No, what we'll do is we call the roll, you'll vote, indicate who you're voting for. So it'll
Okay.
be one roll call, and when your name comes up, either voting for Mary or Jenny.
Okay. So first, we're going to call the roll, voting for Mary Briner for president.
Okay. Mrs. Briner,
Yes.
Mr. Buckley, no, oh, sorry, Mrs. Hassan,
I am not decided. Can I skip and then come back just depending on who is going ahead? For me, Ginny and Mary is both same. So I don't know whether we do this or not.
Mary as presiding officer can decide if you want to allow her to vote last, your choice.
That's fine.
Okay. Mr. Tuttle,
Mary Briner.
Ms. Jisling,
Virginia Jessling.
okay, Mrs. Hassan,
Okay, so if what happens if it gets 2 and 2?
we will have debate and have another roll call.
Okay, then we're gonna keep repeating this process till we
Correct.
come.
Correct.
Okay, this is really hard.
It's difficult too because we have an even number since Ken is not here.
Yeah, and I've literally not seen Mary or Ginny as the president, so it's harder for me to pick over the other. So I think I'm just gonna say Mary, and not because I feel like just to make it easy, so that we just don't keep on saying doing the roll calls.
I'll record you as Mary. So the vote was 3 votes for Mary, 1 vote for Jenny. So Mary will preside as president for 2021.
Okay, thank you. And nomination for the election of vice president. I nominate Tom Tuttle. Any other nominations? Mr. Wilson, please call the roll.
Mrs. Hassan,
Yes.
Mr. Tuttle,
Yes.
Ms. Jisling,
Yes.
Mrs. Briner.
Yes. Thank you. And now we have appointments for positions for OSBA Legislative Liaison, OSBA Student Achievement Liaison, and Mentor Schools Foundation. Do we have any volunteers?
Outside of me, is anybody else interested in being the legislative liaison?
If you are interested in handing it off, I'd be glad to take over.
Ooh, I do like doing it, but if you'd like to
No,
do
if
it,
you'd like to continue, that's
Yeah.
fine. I don't want you to feel like you have
no,
to.
that's fine. If you're interested in doing it, if you want to do that,
I said to Ambreen earlier this week, I think she would make an excellent student achievement liaison for OSBA. It would be a nice opportunity for her to get more involved.
uh-huh. Oh, that's what you were doing this year or
Correct.
last year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay.
So if you
I'm
want to
okay with
continue,
that.
Tom, you've done a fine job. There's no, I don't have an issue. I just didn't want you to feel like you didn't have the option.
Okay. Well, I'll do it again. I do enjoy it.
Mhm.
I'd like to talk now and then with our legislators.
All right, so we're going to have Tom as legislative liaison then. And Ambreen, did you want to do student achievement liaison?
Yeah, sure. And I
Okay,
would like
Ginny,
to thank Ginny for recommending me for that. I just
Okay.
feel guilty. I don't know why.
Ginny, did you want to do Mentor Schools Foundation?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. All right, and establishing place and time for regular meetings of the Board of Education. I think we have a schedule for that. That's normally the second Tuesday of the month. Do we need a motion for this, Dan?
Yes.
Okay,
So moved.
do we have a second?
Second,
Please call the roll.
Ms. Jisling,
Yes.
Mr. Tuttle,
yes.
Mrs. Hassan,
Yes.
Mrs. Briner.
Yes. And we have Chief Financial Officer's recommendations.
And again, these are all the standard resolutions annually that require board confirmation. There are no changes to the actions we've requested in past years. The hearing officers, compliance officers, as recommended by the superintendent, is same. The others are more regulatory things for audit purposes. The last item, 27, authorizes me to do public records training on behalf of Ambreen for 2021.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Ms. Jisling,
Yes.
Mrs. Hassan,
Yes.
Mr. Tuttle,
Yes.
Mrs. Briner.
Yes. And a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second,
Please call the roll.
Ms. Jisling,
Yes.
Mr. Tuttle,
yes.
Mrs. Hassan,
Yes.
Mrs. Briner.
Yes. All right, we will reconvene at 6:45 for the fiscal tax budget hearing.